All roads have led to this, the final showdown between New York's favorite web-slinger and Tombstone, the kingpin of crime. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 59, the penultimate issue in this Zeb Wells series, and find out what happens next together, shall we? It's gonna be visceral. So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Spider-Man and Tombstone were sent tumbling through a plate glass window. Also, I totally didn't clock it in the previous issue, but that was 100% a Batman 89 reference when they said, "You wanna get crazy? Let's get crazy." I only bring up old business because much like the issue that preceded this one, honestly not a hell of a lot happens, and I kinda gotta fill a lot of air here to make it to 7 to 8 minutes. Personally, it feels like this was all probably supposed to be one issue, but they opted to split it into two for, well, honestly, I don't know why. Tombstone continues to try and stalk his daughter Janice, as her plan to turn state witness is the only thing that could ever possibly take him down, even though in trying to kill her, he's committed like a dozen new crimes. I don't know much about the justice system, but I'm pretty sure in New York, if you just keep committing crimes, eventually it all ends up rolling over. The worst part about all of this, though, is just how much of an unactive participant in all of this Janice is. She's the one running for her life. She's the important one in this story, and yet she, A, stops trying to defend herself at a point, and B, doesn't actually have any moments with her father. Which is such a disappointment. Gang War as a storyline had a lot of problems, but I did actually like that Janice was getting the focus. Here, though, she's just nothing but a plot device, something to move the story forward, and once she manages to escape on a train, she's gone, and that's the end of her involvement in this story. How disappointing. So then, what's the rest of the issue about? Well, it's Spider-Man and Tombstone finally having it out. And to the book's credit, it is a little closer to what I actually wanted from the previous issue, but didn't get. John Romita Jr. getting right down there in the blood and the mud, and letting these two absolutely tear strips out of each other. The only problem is that I don't think the conflict between Spider-Man and Tombstone in this arc really justifies this level of violence. Like, seriously, why are these two fighting right now? Why is it so personal? I didn't much like that Rabin story either, but at least when Spider-Man finally snapped and started raining down blows on that guy and hitting him with street lamps, it was understandably cathartic because he had dicked Spider-Man around for so long, and honestly, by extension, the reader too, when we stop and think about it. Here, though, the conflict between Tombstone and Spider-Man doesn't really feel special. In fact, it gets even worse than that because everyone's motivations are all over the damn place. Spider-Man needs to try and protect Janice so that the court case against Tombstone can go through. Tombstone is angry that his daughter would ever turn against him, even though they were technically already fighting at the end of Gang War, and this had been coming for a long time, so why he's extra upset eludes me. Also, he doesn't blame Spider-Man for turning his daughter, even though Spider-Man definitely did, and in fact, I think we're robbed that we never actually got to see the conversation where Spider-Man gets Janice to finally turn on her dad. I mean, the implication is that Janice turned to try and protect Robbie, but Tombstone wasn't really mad at Robbie. Well, he wasn't until the comic said he was, even though Robbie never directly did anything to try and harm Tombstone. Now, I will say all you power scalers out there will probably be happy, as I know a lot of people complained in the comment section, how is someone like Tombstone, a guy who Spider-Man regularly defeats, giving him such a run for his money in these last couple issues? Well, surprise, surprise, it turns out Spider-Man has actively been holding back this whole time. He wasn't actually using his full strength, and when Spider-Man does actually get his head in the game, he's easily able to break Tombstone's thumbs, making it so he can't make a fist anymore. Not that that ends the fight, mind you. In fact, if anything, Tombstone just starts swinging even wilder to try and take Spider-Man down. Things get so heated, Spider-Man has no choice but to actually rescue Tombstone from getting hit by a train. An action that actually leaves Spider-Man opened and weakened to a killing blow. Tombstone picks up a rock, and it looks like he plans to cave the wall crawler's head in. Oh, but don't you see, Peter actually has one last trump card up his sleeve he's yet to play. As Spider-Man says to Tombstone, he came here not just to save Janice from him, but Spider-Man actually had another reason to get involved. You see, Spider-Man actually wanted to save Tombstone from himself, from his own nature, from killing his daughter, an action that he'd never be able to take back. And oh my god, there is just so much dumb shit to unpack right here. One, why does Spider-Man care about saving the soul of a man who has already killed dozens, probably tens of dozens of people? In his long career as a supervillain and a crime lord, I mean, yeah, I guess it's nice that Spider-Man believes believes in redemption and even that the worst of his villains can be saved. But like, why Tombstone and why now? The book doesn't have a good answer, but perhaps the dumbest part of this is that Janice is only in danger right now of getting murdered by her father, because Spider-Man himself actively sought to use her as a pawn in his ongoing battle with Tombstone. Again, I don't think it's Lonnie's soul that's Peter's trying to save here. If anything, as the comic is coming to an end, it looks like Spider-Man is trying to save himself from some future guilt and trauma, and I mean, considering this is Spider-Man, I guess, yeah, he probably doesn't need any more. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 59, everybody, and if you couldn't tell from my general tone, this is slop. This is nothing. I complained that the previous issue was thin, that it was basically just a chase and nothing else going on in terms of character or story or plotting. This one might actually be worse, because by the end it actually tries to have this big heart-wrenching character moment, but it all falls hilariously flat. You see, I was actually trying to save you, Tombstone, this whole time. Might actually end up going down as one of the most ridiculous things in this era of Spider-Man, which is certainly saying something. Hell, the more I think about it, this issue, these last two issues, might actually have been more effective if they completely cut out the dialogue entirely and let the art tell the story. You know, maybe try and have the writer infer what it all meant, what the characters were feeling, what was happening. Here, Wells just out and says it, and it's pretty bad and pretty lazy. But on the upside, at least we're that much closer to being done with the whole thing. A 4 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.